we're done with the regular season, and I felt like it went super fast. I know it's only a couple months, um, and so when you have something every single week for only a couple months, but that felt like it went way too fast for 18 weeks. Uh, it's just crazy. So next week we have the playoffs. I have to do my AFC video. We're gonna talk about that. That's going up later today. I'm doing this video first. I know normally I do these type of videos on a Monday, but I already talked about the Packer game. I didn't have a lot of thoughts on it. I honestly didn't even watch it because it was meaningless. I just saw a lot of people were upset over a stupid meaningless game. So I just kind of quickly talked about that. But normally I do recaps on Monday and then pick recaps on Tuesday, picks on Wednesday. My picks are still coming on Wednesday, but I'm just doing this today, Monday, because this is it. We're done with the regular season, and we start. I'm starting over at 0 with the playoffs, and then at the end of the year, after the Super Bowl, we'll come back and I'll combine my playoff record and my regular season record, which we'll get into that here in a second. But first, on the week, 9-7. After going 12-4 last week, followed up with a 9-7. This is like my fourth or fifth 9-7 week. I know I think it was back to back one time. Like week 13, 14, it was like back to back 9-7 weeks or something like that. So I end week 18 positively above 500 for the week. I was only below 500. I think it was only like 3 times. We're gonna I'll do a whole stats video and whatnot. Again, we'll do it post Super Bowl. We'll kind of look at where I was, how many times what's below 500 and which 500 is basically like being 8-8 and stuff like that. How many times I was above, and we'll kind of talk about that. But just for this week, going 9-7, very good. I did pick Philly against Dallas, which I thought they were like the first half. It's like okay, I know they're playing backups. Dallas is people on the COVID list and whatnot. But I'm like, for week 18, I'm like, Philly has a chance. And then I'm pretty sure Dallas played their starters the whole the whole game, I think. I think they played the whole game. Or maybe most of the game, I guess I'll say. Because I think, who's the backup for the Cowboys? I don't even know. I think he came in for the final 2 drives or something like that. But most of the game, I believe, Dak was out there and whatnot, which I don't get. I don't know. But that's Mike McCarthy's decision. So, he let the starters play. But, so that was an upset. Cincinnati had, people out, and Joe Burrow was sitting, obviously. And, that's what I mean by people out. They had, people sitting and whatnot. I think Joe Mixon was on the COVID list, I think, before 2 days before the game or whatever, so he couldn't play. I guess he needed 2 negative tests and he didn't get those, so he couldn't play week 18. So I guess Case Keenum had a day. He did fine for the Browns last game. Baker Mayfield got surgery. I think it was this past week. I think he might have already gotten it. I don't know. He's getting it soon. Is the point. So I got that wrong. I didn't know what to think with Cleveland, but they beat up on the Bengals week 18, so good for them. They end the year on a W. Pittsburgh. I'm going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this in the AFC playoff picture because we got to talk about them. But they got to win over the Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens. So good for them. They are now in the playoffs. So Big Ben's last game is potentially in Kansas City. Again, we're gonna talk about all this later today. I'll come back with another video talking about this. But congrats to Pittsburgh. Hard fought. They had an 8% chance to make the playoffs heading into this week. And skipping over the Green Bay Detroit game because the Detroit won. I got that wrong. Jordan Love looked okay. But skipping over that, Indy could not beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville, literally, the fans were out there dressed as clowns and saying, screw our GM. We want this guy fired. We don't give a crap if we win, if we lose. Get this man out of here. Dressed as clowns. And then they deny the Colts the playoffs. And then because basically the Colts were done. They lose, they're basically done. So then, helped Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh got the Colts to lose, which means they needed the Chargers Raiders to not tie. Again, we'll talk about that later. But what a way to end that Chargers Raiders game. That was potentially game of the year. Now the Raiders have now been in 2 night games, potentially game of the year. I think was it week 1 or 2 versus the Ravens. And I forget who won that game, but the Raiders. I mean, they showed out against the Chargers, but you have games like that against the Ravens early in the year, which I thought would have been like game of the year. Chargers Raiders game of the year. I mean, there's some just classic games from the Raiders this year, and then there's some games like against the Chiefs where they just get blown out. So I don't know what to think about the Raiders. still don't, despite that they're in the playoffs now. Chicago, Minnesota, didn't even watch. Minnesota won. Yeah, I don't know a thing about this game. I know Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace got fired. Mike Zimmer's out today. So yeah, that's all I know. Tennessee barely beat Houston. They had a 10-point lead late, and Houston actually scored a touchdown. So Tennessee only won by 3. But Tennessee clinches the first round bye with they have the 1 seed now locked up, so they don't have to play till the division round, just like the Packers. So Derrick Henry has 2 weeks. Derrick Henry is coming back to the AFC, so you got to be nervous. Whoever is facing the Titans in the division round has to be nervous because Derrick Henry is coming back. That changes their offense significantly. New Orleans, Atlanta. New Orleans got the win. I didn't pay too much attention to this, just mainly because Niners won. If Niners had lost, I think this would have been probably a little more notable, but New Orleans hung on there until week 18 and they got eliminated. So I got that pick right. Seattle beat Arizona. I got that pick wrong. I don't know what's going on with them, but Arizona's not looking good. Somehow they can beat the Cowboys, but they can't beat a team that got eliminated from the playoffs and they lost to the Lions. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Buffalo, New York. Or I should say the Jets is what I should say. Buffalo won, clinched the East. That's about all I know from this game. I don't know much else. I had Carolina, Tampa Bay on my TV, and I was actually just watching that while I was making dinner last night. So, I got to see that. It was a very close game for about 3/4-ish. I don't think Tampa was really resting a lot of people. Mike Evans got hurt. He hurt his hand and then came back in the game later on. So that's going to be kind of something to look at going into the playoffs next week. But, I mean, they have the Eagles, so I don't know how worried you are. If you lose to the Eagles, I'm just going to laugh at you all day. New England, Miami. I got this wrong, too. Apparently, Miami swept the Patriots this season. I don't get it. 0-2 versus the Dolphins this season. I don't get it. I don't. So I got that one wrong. I got my other upset right. I got San Francisco right. This game was up there too. This was a very good game. I enjoyed the heck out of this game. And the weird thing is the Rams had a 17-point lead. This was late in the first quarter. At half, it was 17-3. And, I thought to myself, the Rams are just going to run away. They're going to win the division. We're going to have them at the 2nd seed, Tampa's at the 3rd seed, Dallas at the 4th seed. And I thought, they're going to just run away. They're going to put up 40-plus points on the Niners who are going to get eliminated. And then we're going to be talking about Saints-Bucks this week. And then the Niners woke up and said, you know what, we're actually going to try. We want our win streak to continue against the Rams, who are, 6-0, I think? I think it's 6-0 in the past couple of years. It's been a while since the Rams have beaten the Niners. So, they woke up, game went into overtime, and Niners barely won. So, good on them. I got that pick right. Niners on the Rams. Then oh my god, this game, this had I was invested in it. I wasn't a fan of the Chargers, the Raiders, or the Steelers, and this game got me invested. This game, I mean, I know a lot of people were invested. I was talking to a lot of people last night, and we're just going crazy about this game. This had a lot of people invested. This was a great way to end the regular season. This game just insane. I know I got the pick wrong. I picked the Chargers. Raiders did win. I don't know what to think about them because again they beat up teams like the Chargers, but then they lose badly to like the Chiefs. So I don't know what to think about the Raiders at all heading into the playoffs. If they, they have to face the Bengals next week. You know, just imagine if if the Raiders have to face the Chiefs, like it's in Arrowhead again. That's where we got blown out last time. Like I don't know. I don't know if they can beat like a top tier team. But they're in the playoffs, so good on them. This almost ended in a tie, and and then the Steelers would have been eliminated. There's the whole like it felt like the refs were kind of rigging this because it felt like they wanted a tie, like the NFL wanted the tie is what it kind of felt like. And I'm not the only one that's saying this. I've seen so many people want the tie. Like you could just see the tie coming from a mile away. Like the I think who was it, the Raiders were up big, I believe is what it was. They were up like 15 points or something like that. Into the fourth quarter, and then they just like gassed out. And the Chargers just came back. And then somehow, some way, I think it was fourth down conversions. It was like 4th and 9 or 4th and 10. 4 of them, I believe, is what 4 or 5 of them. And one of them was a penalty. Raiders, I think it was a corner, held on to Jared Cook. One of the weirdest decisions ever. And extended the drive, but they got 4 fourth downs. They couldn't do anything on 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. And all of a sudden, 4th down comes along, and they're slinging it 10 yards. They're getting it, walking down the field. They had over 4 minutes left. It took them, it was like 4:40 to score or whatever, and there was like 5 seconds left in the... No, they took off all the clock. And so it was just insane. And it felt like it's like, yeah, like this game's going to end in a tie. Like somehow, some way the NFL wanted this. Both teams are going to get in. Steelers are going to be bounced. And it's just the weirdest thing ever. Like, this is why the NFL needs to get rid of ties. Just get rid of ties altogether. I hope, the CBA or whatever it is, I hope whatever they talk about for next year, they just move up ties to right up front and say, hey, next year, we're getting rid of ties altogether. We don't need that anymore. We just don't. Especially when it comes down to Week 18. Just get rid of ties. I know this benefited them, and if they both tied, or if they tied, they both are in the playoffs. But I think the Chargers would have had to play the Chiefs, I think, is what would have happened. So, I mean, maybe for the Chargers, you're thinking, well, they just came and beat us up a couple weeks ago, and now we have to go back to their stadium, and we haven't beaten them since, I think it was like week 4. But, it was just an insane game. So we have the AFC set now, which I can talk about today. I know it's kind of long-winded and whatnot. I just want to talk about because there was just so much crap that happened. I know only a couple of the games really mattered, but the games that did just shined, and it's kind of like, again, I didn't watch Green Bay, Detroit. Didn't care. Cincinnati, Cleveland, didn't watch, didn't care. Washington, Giants, didn't watch, didn't care. I did watch a little bit of the Dallas-Philly game because that was a Saturday night game and whatnot, so it was the only game on, so I thought, I'll watch that. Didn't watch New Orleans, Atlanta, despite, again, they had, some playoff hopes, but San Francisco ended up winning. Didn't watch New England, Miami, didn't watch Buffalo, Jets, Seattle, Arizona, didn't really care too much about. So, I mean, like, a lot of these games didn't matter. Now, obviously, like, Kansas City needed to win, and they needed, the Texans to beat the Titans, and then they would have clinched the first seed. So stuff like that on a Saturday, I'm okay with like watching that game. But a lot of these games are just like whatever. And then again, the big collapse of Indy. Still has not beaten them. Was it 2014? Is that what it is? I think it's 2014 is the last, or they have not beaten them in Jacksonville since 2014. I think is what the stat is. So it's crazy. But anyway, again, long-winded. Just want to talk about this week because there's just so much that happened. Despite again only half the games really mattering. For the year, 161, 107, and 1 when that one tie comes from the Steelers and the Lions. So literally, the Steelers are happy they tied with the Lions because that helped them get in the playoffs. Like if they would have lost to the Lions, they would have been out of the playoffs. But if they would have beaten the Lions, I think they would have needed like a certain team to lose. I think actually they probably would have needed the Chargers to lose because the Chargers beat them. Did they play the? I think they played the Raiders. I don't remember who won that game. I don't know. But very good. 161 wins. I'll take that. Again, we had some very good past couple weeks. 12-4 last week. I'm happy with. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Again, I still have to talk about the AFC picture. And then I'm thinking I kind of want to do a Steelers skit either today or tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna start planning that out today. And if I get to recording that today, maybe I'll put that up tonight. Otherwise, probably tomorrow. Along with whatever I said. I said something in the beginning I was going to put up tomorrow. I already forgot. So I'll have to go back and watch the video. But for now, don't like the video. Share the video around. Don't forget to subscribe. What a week 18. What a season. Regular season. And we're on to a very fun playoffs. And I'm out of here. Peace.